people who've been successful, they know that they have tremendous amount of power. They're making tens and hundreds of millions of dollar decisions, hundreds of job decisions, whether they want to hire hundreds of people or let hundreds of people go. These are massive decisions, and the positions gives you that power. But we also know that power corrupts oneself, and absolute power absolutely corrupt.
ChatGPT launched November 2022. And doesn't it feel like it's just totally changed our whole world?
The sense is still a combination of fear and hype. The way we serve our customers is changing, but the change is a fast evolution, not a revolution.
At the same time, with every benefit, there's also a price we pay. And every single day, there's like a new AI tool, and it can be kind of exhausting. As CIOs, as tech leaders, tech executives, there's all this stuff to evaluate, make sure it's secure.
This AI wave is clearly a much bigger tidal wave. So I want to really give a shout out to our technology leaders, because across every organization, they are always in the front line, whether it is digitizing their organization to be the market leader or being the defender against cyber threats and breaches. Now, with so much of limelight and intensity, I see many of our friends are tired, and they're getting tired.
You made a gamble. You decided to spend money on a commercial building in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was working from home.
Yeah, I had this fear in me is that I want to make sure that people still are able to taste the power of the community. Community is not something nice to have. It's a necessity. It's a must-have.
Welcome to the Tech Legacies Podcast, where we share the untold stories of tech executives, including their origins, career advice, business insights, as well as tech trends. My name is Fanny Dunagan, and I'm the host of the podcast. So what happens when leaders chase and climb that corporate ladder and get the job title that they've always wanted and yet don't feel fulfilled? And at the same time, tech leaders are exhausted and stressed by the continual pace of AI and innovation, as well as security pressures. Today, I'm speaking with Saurajit Kanungo, president of CG Infinity, as we have an open and honest conversation, kind of diving into the behind the scenes of tech leadership. Saurajit, welcome back to the Tech Legacies Podcast.
Thank you, Fanny. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for those of you out there, Saurajit and CG Infinity have been a longtime client of ours, as well as the sponsor of this podcast. So thank you very much, Saurajit.
Happy to do that.
I want to dive straight into AI, right? It's top of mind for everybody.
Yeah.
And we hear it everywhere. There's this continual pressure to chase it and be on top of it. And yet it's moving so fast.
Yes.
And ChatGPT launched November 2022. And doesn't it feel like it's just totally changed our whole world? So I'm very curious to hear from you, because I remember you said a year ago, people were telling you developers, testers are not going to be needed anymore. What is the real sentiment right now? How do you feel about AI kind of 3 years into this?
Yeah, this sentiment is still, quite a bit of that AI is going to take all of our jobs and we're going to be all unemployed. There are some, great leaders in our society, like Ray Kurzweil or Elon Musk. They have a very utopian view of where we are headed. So, the sense is still a combination of fear and hype.
Yeah, for sure.
But, what I see, the reality is little different. As a business, the reality is, yes, the way we serve our customers is changing, but the change is a fast evolution, not a revolution. So there is not
What do you mean by that?
It's very simple. Like, yes, let's talk about our developers. Like we have 400 developers, testers. They make a good living in our company, but I see the way they function and serve our customers are changing, meaning they are, because of the AI tools like GitHub Copilot and Copilot and you name it, and other LLMs, their productivity is showing remarkable improvement. I mean, I can say that you look at them, they are at least 20% more productive, but some of them are actually even 40-50% more productive. So that's what I mean by it's a fast evolution, but it's not a revolution where we're having to get rid of 100 of our developers because we have deployed AI developer agents that is going to understand what our customer business stakeholders want to be built and deployed. We're far from there. So that's why I call it's really a fast evolution, not a revolution.
Yeah. Well, I think especially in the consulting world, right? I think the best consultants are the ones that have that relationship and really dive deep into understanding a client's needs. And those things you're not getting from AI, right? It's still that human to human facts gathering, conversations, all that, right?
Yeah, 100%. In addition to that, on top of that, think about the reality, businesses and our customer stakeholders, they're not going to overnight change the way they conduct their business, right? Let's say we have a customer, they're one of the largest retail energy company in the world, and they're not going to change the way overnight that they're serving their customers. And because they can't change, we as a tech consultant, we are not going to go to them saying that change the way you are running your business. We have to influence and instigate change in the fastest possible manner without causing a lot of disruption. So that's why I'm saying that we're seeing a lot of change. And as consultant, it is our job to suggest and bring in this change in a very organized fashion, in a very sustainable fashion, without disrupting our customers' business.
Right. Well, there's a whole user adoption side of that too.
Absolutely.
We're still human beings. We can't, it's almost like really tough to change that quickly as well as human
100%.
beings.
I'll give you a completely off the top example. I have a car which is manufactured by Tesla, and I have the option not to change shifts in the car. But guess that change is disabled in my car because I still like to feel like I have control. I'm reversing when I want to reverse. I'm going on a drive mode when I want to go on a drive mode. I know as a tech person that the car is equally competent to do that, but I am still like to have a feel on the steering wheel and on the stick shift, and I'm going to change the shift on my own. So that's really what is happening with our businesses around us, with our customers or otherwise.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, and to add to that, there's also a obviously there's the tech changes, right? And the process changes. But I think a lot of it is also mindset shifts. Right? There's obviously a lot of fear and hype and all that. What mindset shifts do you think leaders need to not be so scared or nervous or anxious about all those changes that AI brings?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like to train my own brain is that, hey, being scared is going to put me on a very disadvantageous position. Like, if it's going to help me being scared and being defensive, then I would do that day in and day out. But I have enough gray hairs or no hair in my head is that it does not help. So I train my brain to think offensively, not defensively, because we all know that offense is the best form of defense. What I mean by offense in this context, I want to be the first mover in embracing AI and its power and make myself 50% more productive. So in that mindset, I'm actually able to create opportunity, not just trying to mitigate risks. So, every risk, as we know, has opportunity associated with it. So being offensive is actually helping me not only mitigate risk, but create opportunity for us. Yeah. In many of the projects we are doing for our customer in the last 1 year, we are able to do things faster and cheaper. We are passing on some of the benefit to our customers, and we're actually improving our margin. I'm not suggesting that we have been able to do that across the board. No, but there are clearly 2 to 4 showcase big projects. We're able to do it faster, cheaper, and better, and we're sharing margins with our customer. So being defensive does not help us to create this kind of opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a quote that you have that I just absolutely love, and I want to read it for our audience here. You always say, when the headwind is coming, we can take cover and be defensive, or we can be offensive and use that headwind in our favor to grow the business. Yeah. And I love that because nobody can stop this AI headwind, right? Or tidal wave.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So we got to ride it. Right?
Yeah. If we can turn that headwind into tailwind, imagine the benefit we can seize in.
It's an accelerator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at the same time, with every benefit, there's also a price we pay, right? And every single day, there's like a new AI tool, new innovation, new technological advancement, right?
Yeah.
And it can be kind of exhausting.
Yeah.
Right? As CIOs, as tech leaders, tech executives, there's all this stuff to evaluate, make sure it's secure, data. And I know you have a lot of different conversations with tech executives, tech leaders. What is the sentiment? Is there this kind of exhaustion almost and stressors related to trying to keep up?
100%. And just if we can go back in time, I feel for, our CIOs, CTOs, CISO friends, because I feel like they have been in the front line as leaders for last 25 years. 25 years ago, we had this internet wave came, okay? And everybody is in a frenzy to embrace that and seize that opportunity. Then mobile wave came, okay? Last 10 years, cloud wave came. In the meantime, the cyber breaches have been trending up almost every day. And even AI is not helping. Now this AI wave is clearly a much bigger tidal wave. And so I want to really give a shout out to our technology leaders, because across every organization, they are always in the front line, whether it is digitizing their organization to be the market leader, or being the defender against cyber threats and breaches and things like that. Yeah. So in so many ways, the technology leaders in every organizations, I would say that they have become more important, and the limelight is on them more than the CEO of those organizations. Now, with so much of limelight and intensity, I see many of our friends are tired, and they're getting tired. And if you talk to them, and they can confide in you, and they really need serious help. There is always something happening, and they can't catch a break. And a break or two, a timeout or two, would tremendously help them in a big way to be more effective and still maintain their sanity.
100%. Well, I mean, it used to be that a tech leader's role is just to keep the lights on and make sure, and help desk tickets done, right? And now you can't even be the so-called smartest one in the room or the most up-to-date one in the room, because there's no way to keep up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Another way to think about it, almost 100 years ago, mostly the engineers used to become the CEO of the company. Okay. Slowly, probably in 1970s and 80s and 90s, you see a lot of the CFOs and financial professionals become the CEOs of this big company, small company. But you are already seeing the trend that technology leaders are slowly but surely creeping up to become the CEO of massive companies. And I think we are on the beginning stages of that trend. I would suspect that next 10 to 20 years, probably 40-50% of the CEOs of large corporations are going to be tech leaders. So yes, there is a price to it. A lot of our tech leader friends, they are getting burnt out, but very few of them are able to, still swim upstream and getting there where they could change the world and change the market and change their organization. So there's always silver lining on both sides.
There is. Well, and there's only so many roles also, right?
That's true.
Because we talk to leaders that are also going through career transition.
Yeah.
Right. They were formerly CIO of a huge Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
And now they're looking for their next role. And there is a struggle there as well.
Yeah.
Right? Any advice or thoughts that you would share with them in going through that kind of transition?
Yeah, this is a hard part for me. Like, I lived in this metroplex for last 27 years, and we have 50% of our business in Houston. So, I have probably 40, 50 CIOs in this town, in DFW, that I call friends. I probably have 20, 25 of them in Houston metroplex that I call friends. And I see many of them struggling with this. And, my thought is, I'm not an expert to advise them, but my thoughts are the following. less than 1% of tech professionals get to that position.
Yeah.
Okay. But what I would encourage my friends and the tech leaders to think themselves like they're climbing Mount Everest.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't underestimate that it takes a lot to get to the top, but don't underestimate what it takes to climb down from the peak of Mount Everest. It's equally difficult. And I noticed that there is almost no attention or very little attention given how to make a graceful retreat. Otherwise, I see a lot of my friends, they end up in free falling, which is never a good situation mentally and financially to be. Maybe financially it's still acceptable, but mentally you are on the top. But let's pay attention like how we can have a graceful retreat from Mount Everest.
Yeah. That's huge because, we also talk to executives that retire, but then they get antsy and want to come back to the workforce, right?
Yeah.
And we can't help it, right? I think we also define ourselves sometimes by our job titles, especially if we've led hundreds and thousands of people in an organization. And then, like you said, that Everest moment.
Yeah.
And then what next? Right? It can seem very empty afterwards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, an advice?
Yeah, well, advice is, first of all, a very good CIO customer friend of mine, I'm going to name him Phil Coulterman of Brinks Home. Been good friends. My team has been serving him for a long time, and he gifted me a book to read probably 3-4 years ago. I will highly recommend people at my age and being executive, tech or otherwise, should read this book. The book is called From Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks. Arthur Brooks is a very well-known author and speaker. Highly recommend you read this book. The theme of the book, what he is trying to present is how do we train our mind to be more successful in the second half of our career, and equally importantly is how we can enjoy that ride. And so that would be my first advice, is that let's not leave it to chance or somebody else making a decision on our second half of the career. Like we've been successful in climbing to the top, let's plan and manage how we're going to enjoy and be successful in the second half also. So let's not leave it to chance. That'll be my advice.
And when you said that, it also makes me think of Olympians, right?
Yeah.
Their initial definition of success is I want a gold medal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they achieve it.
Yeah.
Then the next phase, and maybe they might want to win 5 gold medals, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But after that point, even to what you said, success may not be the same anymore, or the definition of success may not be the same anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know you and I have met people that have become fractional CIOs, that have become advisors or part-time consultants, board members, right? There's like a whole path after that pinnacle, so-called.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, those are really great transition or great examples of how we can really better manage a retreat from the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenge that we can manage is that how do we manage our own mind? Because when we are on the top of the mountain, our brain in terms of RPM is probably going 8,000 RPMs, right? 8,000 cycles per minute or rotations per minute. But how are we able to bring this rotation down and calm our mind down, and then we can bring it back up and back it down? So a lot of things that we often ignore is how do we calm our own mind? It's easier said than done, but it has to be done. Our brain is a very fine machine, very efficient machine, but it's not going to last forever. So, it's, you see a simple example is, you see on our phones or car batteries, they're basically saying, hey, charge it only 80% to maximize the battery life. So one of the things we need to start thinking about at my age and my level is that how do we slow our brain down, whether temporarily or for a day or two, and then bring it back up so that it's continues to be equally efficient but sustainable for a longer duration.
I want to pause real quick here and give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, CG Infinity. I've worked with them for several years now, and I can truly say that they have one of the best workplace cultures that I've ever experienced. And they specialize in a variety of industries, especially energy, utilities, and financial services. And they serve them through their Salesforce, cloud, as well as customer experience services. So thank you, CG Infinity, and I hope you'll support them as they have supported us here at the podcast. How do you calm your brain down, Saurajit?
Well, there are many ways, but I could bucket everything is that I'm able to disconnect my brain from churning. It could be as simple as, going to my lake house on a Friday afternoon. I'm 40, 50 miles out of the Metroplex. I can enjoying little hills around me, and there are cows, and there are flowers, wildflowers, and I can already feel that if my brain is a lot more calmer. I mean, I'm like 2 hours before, I'm in back-to-back meetings, on phone calls in between, helping my team with making some pitches to a customer or a prospect for a big project that we are going after. And, I'm plugged 100% into the metrics, but 2 hours after, I'm like focusing on something else. My brain is focusing. And, this is that's where hobbies can be very important for all of us. And creating, developing serious hobbies, is a very important way to disconnect.
100%.
Yeah.
So Saurajit, I think sometimes, and I know I suffered from it for many years in the corporate world, and I used to define myself by my job title, right? I am senior whatever at this company, right? Or it has to be a well-known company because then it gives me status, for instance, right? There's that sentiment out there, right? But at the same time, there are plenty of successful mid-sized firms that are doing very well and even maintaining balance, let's say, right? How do you get around that kind of mentality that a role or job title defines you? And how did you kind of overcome that?
Yeah,
yourself?
it's easier said than done. Okay. People who've been successful, then they know that they have tremendous amount of power, right? They're making tens and hundreds of millions of dollar decision, hundreds of job decision on hundreds of jobs, whether they want to hire hundreds of people or let hundreds of people go. These are massive decisions, and the positions gives you that power. But we also know that power corrupts oneself. Okay, and absolute power absolutely corrupt.
Yeah,
Okay,
1984.
absolutely. Okay, so so it's not unusual for us to get very defined by the title we have. We almost have to try. We all know that it's not healthy. Okay. One thing that I try to do is try to create an out of body experience, like get out of my title and watch myself, like, and
almost like a third person.
Absolutely, as a third person. And what those kind of simulation does is that you realize, yes, you may be the president of a 400 person tech company, but you are also a human being. There are a lot of things I take for granted every day. For example, I drive, I could have an accident, my life could disappear in a bubble. So imagining and simulating scenarios like that almost helps me just not forget who I am really, besides being the president of a company. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son of my parents, a friend of many people that I care a lot. Having that kind of feeling, or imagining that kind of scenario almost helps me. I call it a grounding effect. And that is so much important, because in our work, we are almost workaholic to be at that position, and we are driven by success. But one of the things that Arthur Brooks talks about in the books From Strength to Strength is a phenomena called striver's cause. I'm not doing a very eloquent job of explaining that, so I recommend reading this out at his website or on the book or on the internet. What Arthur Brooks defines striver's cause is, our joy of a success tends to neutralize very quickly. We almost want success every day, every week. And if we don't get that success, we're miserable. Okay. So the good thing is that, we have developed a driver personality, and we are achieving things, we are being recognized, but it has the effect of corrupting our mind, because lack of success feels like a failure. Okay. And that's where we need to figure out who really am. And yes, I'm not going to be successful, but is it end of the world? Is the sky is going to fall? I'll give you one example. Like, everybody talks about, Tiger Woods, how successful he is, and, pretty much changed that industry, they changed that game to become a huge industry. I'm talking about the game of golf. But if you look statistically, I don't think he has even won 10% of the championship he competed in. So think about, he had to face and sustain 90% failure. Think about Roger Federer.
Right.
Roger Federer lost 52% of the points he has ever played.
Yeah.
So think about, that's why, not getting married to your title all the time has a very profound healing effect. And it in my case, it actually helps me a better leader and better performer at my job.
Yeah. I especially like when you said having that out of body experience, right? Like my son's in marching band. So every Friday we go to the high school and watch a football game, a high school football game.
Yeah.
And I always kind of like consciously tell myself, look around this stadium.
Yeah.
We have little toddler kids to senior citizens.
Yeah.
We get to watch all these high school students play and jump around and have fun and listen to music and watch people sit down and watch a game of football.
Yeah.
Right. And it's such a grounding for me.
Oh,
100%. My stress about I didn't finish this AI tool course or something, that kind of fades away. I'm like, look at this community we get to live in and how grateful I am of that.
Yeah. Look, I struggle with this all the time. And what I mean by that is, the win mindset, having a winning mindset, put me in where I am, to be fortunate enough to run a 400-person company and help 30 plus amazing long-standing customers and make a difference to their businesses. But focusing on winning mindset 100% of the time was very tiring. And I was feeling burnt out. So I am trying to incorporate slowly that, hey, can I afford 10% of the time that I'm not going to have a win mindset, or 5% of the time? Because that's reality. I am not going to win every pitches that I'm making. I'm not going to have every customer that I'm knocking on their doors that they're going to open the door for me. So I got to learn in my mind to accept failure as a step closer to success. And that's where just getting out of this 100% winning mindset does help me keep sanity and perform better in a long run.
Well, I know one of the sanity-saving things you do is you have quite a lot of hobbies, Saurajit.
Yeah, I do.
Hobbies.
Very fortunate to be able to. And, just a little bit fast forward, if you asked me this question 15 years ago, from my childhood until 15 years ago, I had zero hobbies. But I was very deliberate about developing serious hobbies. So right now, I seriously pursue 3 hobbies. I play golf, and I fish, and I'm a beekeeper. I become a beekeeper. So become very outdoorsy. Growing up in India, academics was 100% of my focus. Hobby, focus, career, everything was...
It was a luxury.
Yeah.
It was like decadence, right?
It didn't exist in my vocabulary. But I've become very outdoorsy. It gives me a calming effect. I disconnect better. I'm able to not take my phones with me when I'm pursuing these, so that I feel a little disconnected. Now, I'm starting to learn how to shoot. So, yeah, hobbies have become a very important part of my own journey to retreat from the mountain and try to manage that, try to enjoy that journey.
Well, redefining your definition of success.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
What is it about being outdoors, you think, that gives us that calming effect?
It may mean different for different people. For me, when I'm at a workplace, I feel like we always live in an environment at our workplace that if we don't do something, the sky is going to fall and the earth is going to shatter. And for me, it's a validation that the sky is still there and it's always going to be there, and the earth is always going to be there. So, yeah, mostly it's a manufactured problem. It's really not a problem. So, for me, it is a realization that, yeah, these are big problems we are tackling, but it's not going to be end of the world. If I didn't win that massive deal that I am going after, it's not going to be end of the world. I think we're going to get the next deal, if not then the deal after the next deal. So just for me, going outdoor, watching sun rising, life coming to form, and watching the setting sun and being grateful for that. Yeah. We lived another day successfully. It just gives me a very grounding and balancing effect to myself personally. Even it helps me perform better at my work.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned several sports, right? And I think sports teaches us so much about sales even, right?
Yeah.
Like you are not going to win every shot.
Yeah.
And then it's on to the next.
Yeah.
On to the next, next pitch, the next volley, whatever it might be. Right.
There is a term I've learned in this country is called Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay. So, we come Monday morning, the throw should have been this way, that way. We do a lot of analysis paralysis. If you talk to one of my direct report or any team member, if in a discussion, we start doing an analysis paralysis like that, we should have done this in the pitch and things like that, I tend to stop the conversation. I'm like, guys, we need to drive the car looking at the windshield. Yes, the rear view mirror is important, but if we are spending more than 5% of our time looking at the rear view mirror, we are really not driving the car the way we should be driving. So let's drive this company looking at the windshield. Rear view mirrors, side view mirrors are important, but don't spend more than 5-10% of the time. So if we get obsessed with analyzing failure, then we're going to doubt every shot we're going to take. If we keep celebrating the past success, we're going to get cocky. Yeah. Okay. So looking back has some great benefit, but it could paralyze your performance from now to the future.
Yeah, for sure. So what would be like a small step that you would suggest for a tech leader that's on that verge of burnout or exhaustion that they can take even this week to kind of shift their definition of success or shift their mindfulness to enjoy life more?
Yeah. First thing is to, we all need to ask ourselves the question. My mind is always busy. My mind is always occupied. Is that a healthy state for me to make better decision for my organization, for my team? I think each one of us going to say no. So what is the best way to rest my mind temporarily, right? Rest my mind every day, rest my mind every week, rest my mind every month, rest my mind every quarter, okay? It has to be in that frequently. Just going on a vacation once in 6 months, it doesn't work for the type of performance is expected out of our roles.
Right.
We almost need 20 to 30% of our calendars blocked out and doing nothing, no meetings, no interaction. That has a powerful effect on the quality of decisions we are making and our performance, how we are performing. And last but not the least, how we feel about ourselves. Each one of us feel about ourselves. And so there is a way we can get disconnected from the matrix on a daily basis, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
That would be, you will see instant reward on our performance and our overall state of our mind and happiness.
And as you're saying all that, it makes me think, just like we have a plan for our business,
Yes,
we should have a plan for our rest and recovery.
100%. Very well said.
Yeah. One is needed for the other.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can't, our brains are not designed to make these high impact, high outcome decisions day in and day out, 24/7.
I want to pause real quick to thank one of the sponsors of our Tech Legacies podcast. She is Shauna Black. She is a heart-centered executive coach. You're stuck in your career and wanting to get to the next level, but you feel something holding you back. Shauna Black is someone that will see your light, see your gifts, harness it, help you pull it out, and enable you to be the next level of powerful leader that you can be.
Well,
Right.
It's not.
And there's no room for creativity.
Correct. 100%.
Right? And if we're going to so-called survive and thrive in an AI world, we need our human creativity.
100%
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to shift gears now, Saurajit, because this podcast, Tech Legacies, right? I started it because I want to highlight the humans behind the tech, right? And at this point in our tech-driven, digital-driven world, what does it mean for you to be human? And what does it mean to kind of maintain our humanity in this digital world?
Yeah. It means a lot for me to be human. Yes, we have processors getting, more function like human brain and all that stuff. I get that. I'm in that field. And if you listen to Ray Kurzweil in any of his books, right, the latest one I recommend reading, everyone to read is Singularity is Nearer. I'm probably not explaining it well. For Ray's, the definition of singularity is the the human and machine working like this, not like this, okay, or not like this. So to me, yes, the machines are getting more intelligent, more powerful, but according to Ray, we still have not figured out how to program instincts. One thing humans have is instinct. And it reminds me a book I read many years ago, Malcolm Gladwell's Blink.
Yeah.
It talks about how we make decision based on our instinct. That is way more powerful than 60 smart people sitting in a room for weeks and days and months and trying to make a decision. Whereas in a blink of our eye, our instinct could make a decision and could be very profound.
Yeah.
Some of these decisions were as profound as us surviving as a human race. Okay. So yeah, yes, I'm excited that the machines are getting more powerful, more intelligent, but I'm excited because I can use these machines and I still have, as a human being, I have my instinct. I can combine them to be more powerful rather than trying to create a competitive situation here. One of the things I've been observing lately is that at workplace, we are overusing our brain, but we have another important organ in all our bodies, which is our heart. Okay. And we are almost underusing our hearts at workplace. And I think we're leaving tremendous opportunities on the table by underusing our heart. For example, I understand that, if we use our brain, we can secure alignment with a larger group of people faster. But I'll give you a silly example and maybe somewhat controversial example of how overusing our brain and underusing our heart could lead to a suboptimal performance. I'm a golf addict, a self-proclaimed golf addict, and it was disheartening for me to see we losing Ryder Cup in our own soil. And that has happened long time ago, but we always win in our own soil. But I think we overused our brain when we selected the 12 players in our U.S. team. And we pretty much went by their ranks. And, for 90% of the way, maybe there are one exception or something like that. But it was pretty much like, okay, we secure alignment. We took the top 12 players, give or take. I think it was very evident that as a team, these are amazing golfers, but I could feel even at the audience as a spectator that I didn't think the team members really knew each other. The unfortunate part is golf is an individual sport, except for events like Ryder Cup, right? Yeah. It becomes a team sport. So these amazing athletes and golfers, they didn't have the luxury to really know each other and align their hearts. Their brain was clearly aligned. They're winners and they want to win. But I saw the Europeans had a very different chemistry. I mean, it was a lot of brain, but it was also a lot of heart for them. And it was really sad to see like how pretty much they destroyed us. And this is an example of that we all hopefully can relate in our respective workplace, that how there is an organ in each one of us can be used in addition to our brain to drive better outcome, better performance, and feel good about each other, feel good about working with each other.
Yeah. Well, for me, one of the beautiful things that I love with everything we do in tech is, especially in DFW, is there's a huge sense of community,
Yeah.
right? I think community and the people that are in the community are the heartbeat,
Yeah.
right? And I still remember when we started talking, COVID, March 2020.
Yeah.
Right. And in that year, you made a gamble.
Yep.
Right. A lot of people from the outside might be laughing, right? Because you made a gamble. You decided to spend money on a commercial building in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was working from home.
Yeah.
It's now 5 years later.
Yeah.
Right? You look back now, and I still remember you said one of the main reasons you wanted that building is you wanted a place for people to hang out and build community.
Yeah.
Even though there was no evidence of that during COVID, right? Looking back 5 years, you've kind of like progressed now.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think about that decision, and where are you now in terms of this community you've built?
Yeah, I think I will still make the same decision knowing what I know today. And I'll give you some of the examples of why I say that. Our building manager is making plans for 2026 calendar year events. And I can't tell you like how packed these events are. So, you're a member of this amazing organization. Our building is a home for DFW Women in Technology Association.
Alliance of Technology and Women.
Yeah, Alliance of Technology and Women.
Yeah.
And we host Salesforce user group. We one of the biggest practice area, the second biggest Snowflake user group, Dallas AI group, DFW SIM, board meetings, DFW's, the National Society of Information Managers, Executive Leadership Forum, right? So the list goes on and on. We also offer to some of the nonprofits like Empower. They help our veterans get back into tech through their amazing programs. We have another nonprofit, Women of Purpose. To me, it was the decision 5 years ago was deliberate. Another book I read around that time is by a Dutch author called Robert Bregman. I may be mispronouncing his last name. He wrote a book called Humankind. Amazing book. It's rather long, but it's an amazing book. One of the things that he argues in that book is, why did as a human race, we survived and we are thriving? One of the biggest, if not the biggest factor, is our ability to develop community, to communicate, collaborate, and socialize. Okay. we were responding to an pandemic in the right way by, secluding ourselves, working from home and being safe, which was very important. But I had this fear in me is that I want to make sure that people still are able to taste the power of the community. Community is not something nice to have. It's a necessity. It's a must have. We cannot afford to forget the power of community. And so, and I'll make the same decision again, but feel super grateful to be able to do that and allow our tech community in DFW to be able to come and mingle and learn from each other. But there are some tangible benefit CG Infinity got from this move as well. The tangible benefits are two mainly. One, we're not Accenture, we're not Deloitte, so this help us get some brand recognition in the DFW Metroplex, which is super. What is even better is it became a powerful way to attract talent, which is a bigger challenge or bigger opportunity for us to be able to attract talent. And so, it has both tangible and intangible benefit.
I love that. And everything I'm reading these days, especially because digital can divide us, right? And make us feel disconnected. Community is what's creating connections, warmth, I think, and belonging. Right? Two things that AI can't take away, right? So I think clearly that was a good decision, and continues to be.
Yeah. I'm hoping to do the same in our second biggest market, Houston. I don't have a plan. I have a wish. One of the challenge of running a profitable and debt-free company is that you have limited amount of resource to drive growth, and we want to be independent. We want to not depend on outside money to grow our business. So, but I plan to do that in the Houston market as well.
Love it. You heard it here, folks. That's how dreams start, right? You've got to declare it.
100%.
And then the how is inconsequential, actually, because it will work out. Yes. Well, you mentioned another word that is just dear to my heart, and that's branding, right? And building brand awareness. I still remember the first time we met. We went to Mikasina's for lunch, right? And we just started to talk about like building brand awareness for CG Infinity. And nowadays I see you posting and contributing to discussions, right? It's not a look at me kind of post. It's you spark conversations, you ask your audience questions. I think several of your posts went viral. I remember one where it was about AI, but you kind of asked the audience to compare two diagrams. And that got like over 80,000 views or something like that. Like what made you start to kind of like make that big final shift to commit to consistent posting?
Well, first of all, I have to acknowledge you mentoring me to be on that path. So thank you.
Thank you
for setting me on this path. That was hugely helpful for me to be on this path. Secondly, that post actually got 120,000.
Oh, okay. I underestimated. Say it. Yes.
But again, thanks to you. there are really multiple things. You hit the nail on the head. Is that it's not about, hey, look at me. It's more about being authentic. As tech leaders, I will stereotype that probably 80-90% of us are introverts. Okay, and I have, like me, I have many introvert friends. They are amazing. They're doing amazing work. They are changing organization. They are spearheading industries, and their stories need to be told. We need to figure out a way that our younger generation and the other businesses need to discover these amazing tech leaders who happen to be introverts. So that was the primary driver for me to lead by example. I work with some amazing technology people in my team. They need to be discovered by other people, how good they are, how they can think off of their feet. So this is a journey for me to lead authentically and lead with purpose, not just rack up your follower count or impressions or something like that, but we are still trying to get out of this remote culture or remote work. And, many of us have been able to get out of that inertia, but many have not. So, especially LinkedIn becomes a great medium to share practices with each other and learn from each other. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. And there are some more exciting things coming. I'm learned from Ray Kurzweil now. So I have created a Texas version of me, and I'm training the Texas version of me so that...
Like a Texas AI version?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Texas avatar of Saurajit Kanungo. And I can turn it on with a Texas accent, or I think it's going to get more exciting. Ray is creating a version of Ray with trained so that hopefully the Ray's avatar can think like him after he leaves this earth. And I want to experiment a version of me. Yeah. And it's been, you're going to see more and more of that coming in 2026.
I love it. I love it. Well, one of our mutual connections, right? And also a guest of Tech Legacies is Jacob Miles.
Yeah.
From the toy industry.
Of course.
And he always talks about avatars, even like plush animals, whatever it is, it's all IP, right? It's all intellectual property, right? You look at even Salesforce, right? They have Einstein.
Yep.
They have these plush toys that represent different agents and different things. It just makes it relatable, right? And then it lives on long after the brand.
Absolutely.
Right? It lives on long before, after the CEO retires even.
100%.
Right? There's a quote that I really like called, when you're branding yourself and creating content, it's not about self-promotion, it's about idea promotion.
Yep.
Right? And you're promoting ideas of like thinking of AI in different ways. And then another quote that I like is, at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, best known beats being the best.
Yeah.
You can be the best, but you could be like this hidden secret that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
And for visibility's sake, for brand awareness sake, we need to share those things.
And you and I have talked about this. I think your inspiration to start Tech Legacy is really based on this theme that, we meet and we have friends, so many CIO friends, that they're so amazing, but we know that.
Yeah.
I think our next door neighbor doesn't know it, or the next company doesn't
Or the
know
next
it.
generation of students don't know it.
Absolutely. So I admire you for, embarking on this journey for the last 3 years to make these amazing tech leaders, our CIO friends, being discovered by the community that we live in. So thank you very much for doing that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories.
Yeah.
And I get to learn. It's like a master class.
Yeah.
Each episode is a master class for me.
Yeah.
Because I get to sit down with a tech leader and just learn and learn and learn. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Very fulfilling.
I agree with that.
So speaking of legacy, you obviously love to read books, Saurajit.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to call out your book, Demystifying IT.
Yeah.
Right. We talked a little bit about it last time, but for those in the audience that haven't heard of it, share why you wrote the book and what it's about.
Yeah. It's the idea is very simple. The theme that I kept noticing is that, information technology is the biggest differentiator for every organization, every business is out there. Okay. But the irony I kept finding is that every organization I have the good fortune to work with or associate with or even remotely got involved in, I always find there is a IT side and there is a business side. Well, from our perspective, we've done the project. From their perspective, they don't know how to use it, that kind of. So massive amount of opportunities are not being seized by these organizations. So there is still a Grand Canyon between IT side and the business side. It is almost as if these two sides speak two different languages and they're struggling to communicate with each other. So that was the prime trigger for us to my co-author Bopi, which is a partner in crime at CG Infinity for me for many years. We wrote this book, but the idea is not to talk about the Grand Canyon. The idea is to talk about there are few organizations, they have been able to normalize this Grand Canyon and develop a common parameter or a framework to talk to each other. And we try to tell these unique stories where these two sides are working like this and creating massive amount of shareholders' wealth for these organizations. So we've tried to learn from our customers, few customers that we have served, and try to propose a very simple-minded framework, mental framework for other organizations to be able to work like this, not work like this.
Right. One of the things I really like about it, and I think of this analogy with your book, is it's like you're sharing stories that bridge the two sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? In the simplest way, right? Bridging business and IT through stories.
Yeah, this is another example of, in our meeting rooms, boardrooms, we keep using our brains, but it's the using of the heart connects us together, right? And so it's amazing in some of the cases, the CEO of those companies decided to take matters into his or her own hand and became the big unifier, not the big divider, right? So
100%. So Saurajit, we have a tradition here on our podcast where I have these conversation cards from one of my own favorite podcasts, Diary of a CEO. And these are questions that different best-selling authors, business leaders ask each other.
Okay.
And so I want you to pick one.
All right, let's do this one.
Okay. And then if you could read it out loud and then answer it for our audience.
What for you is a life worth lived? How do you make most of this? Wow, that's a very profound question. Well, for me, growing up, I used to always live for the future. First 10 years of my career, I always lived for the past. And for me, the life worth living is today. And I want to make the best out of today and be happy and make people around me happy. That matters the most than yesterday or tomorrow. And it's very hard. We have a risk mindset, and sometimes that mindset could pull us back. But I almost try to live in the present, live in the moment, and do the best I can, make a difference for people around me.
I love that.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Our show's Tech Legacies.
Well, my view about legacy has evolved. To me, I've become influenced by Arthur Brooks from his book, Strength to Strength. It's like, live your life. The moment you start thinking about legacy, it feels like you are stopping. And it's a little bit of an intricate, maybe a deeper thought, but I really like that because I want to wake up every day, keep doing what I want to do, make a difference in the community around me, and maybe that becomes my legacy.
Yeah. Again, focusing on the present.
Yeah.
Right.
Focusing on the present.
So as we kind of wrap up here, Saurajit, if there's one sentence you could leave with our audience about sharing an advice on what it means to leave a legacy or to build one, what would that be?
Yeah. The show must go on. Okay. Bigger and better, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what I want to live with.
I love that.
Okay.
Thank you, Saurajit.
Thank you.
I want to share just how lucky I feel that we got to meet.
Thank you.
Shout out to Kathy Bennett, who introduced us.
Exactly.
I think sometimes just these random introductions of like, so-and-so, you should meet so-and-so.
Yeah.
And then from there, it sparked this friendship, this partnership, this collaboration. And I'm so grateful. And you're not just a tech leader, but you're a tech leader with purpose.
Thank you.
And intention.
Thank you.
Right?
That means a lot.
And I think that really, really matters. And the fact that you're building community, which matters a lot to me, because I think building relationships is all we'll really remember on our deathbed. Yeah. I know, sorry to sound morbid, but like we will always remember the relationships we've built.
I'll live with a parting thought. It may seem random to you and me. I sometimes wonder, was it random? Maybe random to us.
True.
Yeah.
The the universe knows.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Maybe there is a master plan.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Saurajit.
you're welcome.
Thank
Enjoyed
you to thank you to our audience. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us feedback and follow us on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify or whatever platforms that you're listening to this on. We always appreciate your feedback, and feel free to suggest other questions I can ask these tech leaders. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to Tech Legacies Podcast. I want to take a moment here to give a shout out to one of our amazing partners of Tech Legacies Podcast. Here with us, Karen Bruno. She is the CEO of Tech CXO Launchpad, an incredible partner of ours. Karen, please tell our audience a bit more about Tech CXO Launchpad.
Thank you so much, Fanny. Thank you for having me today. And Tech CXO Launchpad is a certificate program through SMU, and it is essentially a leadership development program. It's taught through a technology lens, however, and we see ourselves as a fit for really all the disciplines across the C-suite, whether you are sitting in the seat and you need a refresher, you might be looking for a blueprint to the C-suite, or you might simply be looking to accelerate your career. And something that's unique about us is that we are actually taught by practitioners. So these are current and former CIOs and CTOs who have actually walked in these footsteps. And they are very interested in teaching executive presence to these rising stars. We meet in person on campus at SMU, and we do that for a day and a half each month over the course of 4 months. And our 4 modules cover a wide range of topics. Some of the standouts are the first 90 days, also creating a budget and presenting that budget to the CFO. We also cover some legal topics, such as contracts and the legal implications of AI. And another unique facet is that we do a mock board presentation, and it is a unique opportunity to be able to practice something like that. That is something that you typically are just thrown in, and we also incorporate networking into each of our modules. So the technology executives, we have dozens of them who participate each semester, and they are bringing their networks that they have cultivated over decades. And these networks now become the networks of the individuals that take the program. So your network is your net worth is a tagline of ours, and the network is second to none that we bring through the program. We are incredibly proud that 80% of the graduates of Cohort 1 have either been tapped for a promotion, promoted, they have been nominated for an award, received an award, or have stepped into a new role within 1 year of graduating from the program. We are proud that we are growing rising stars into C-suite executives. Our program is a great fit for anyone who is looking to accelerate or elevate their career, looking to transform their career journey, and oftentimes transform their life. We are Tech CXO Launchpad,